You brought your rescue dog home and watched them press into the corner, or freeze at a sound, or flinch at a hand that meant nothing but kindness. And something in you quietly wondered whether they would ever really trust you, whether what happened before you was something you could actually reach. That question, the one you've been carrying since the day you brought them home, is what this video is about. And the answer is not what most people expect. 1. They didn't come to you broken. They came to you guarded. Here's what most owners of rescue dogs never get told clearly enough. The shutdown, the fearfulness, the distance, none of it is damage. None of it is something missing. It is a system working exactly as it was designed to work. When a dog has moved through environments where unpredictability was the only constant, where sounds meant danger and hands meant pain, and nothing stayed safe for long, their nervous system adapts. It recalibrates around survival. It builds walls that are not walls at all, but intelligence. A study out of the University of Bristol in 2019 found that dogs with histories of early adversity show heightened environmental sensitivity, not diminished capacity for attachment, but a raised threshold for trust. Your rescue dog did not arrive unable to connect. They arrived requiring proof before connecting. That is not brokenness. That is wisdom. And the moment you stop trying to fix them and start trying to earn them, everything changes. 2. The first thing they were actually doing when they seemed to be doing nothing. You remember the first few days. Maybe the first week. Your rescue dog barely moved, barely engaged. They lay in one spot, ate cautiously if at all, watched everything with an expression you couldn't quite read. And you worried. You thought they were shut down, unreachable, too far gone to find their way back. Here's the thing. They were working harder in those days than they would work at any other point in the process. Canine behavioral researchers describe the initial stillness of a newly rehomed dog as an intensive assessment phase, a period in which the dog is processing every sensory input in the new environment with complete attention. Every smell in the walls, every pattern in the sounds, every footstep and tone of voice and shift in energy. Your rescue dog was not absent in those quiet days. They were building a map. They were asking, with everything they had, is this place safe? Is this person safe? And they were waiting, with extraordinary patience, for enough evidence to begin to answer yes. 3. What their body was doing before their eyes softened. You waited for the obvious signs. The tail wag, the approach. The moment they climbed into your lap, or rolled onto their back, or did something that looked unambiguously like trust. And while you were waiting for those things, you missed the earlier ones. The first full exhale, the long, slow release of breath that signals the nervous system stepping down from high alert. The tail that didn't wag, but simply stopped being tucked. The ears that moved from flat to neutral. The body that stopped bracing every time you entered the room. These are the signals that come before the warmth. They are smaller and quieter, and most owners walk right past them. But they are more honest than anything that comes later, because they are involuntary. Your dog's body was telling you they were beginning to feel safe before their behavior was ready to show it. Those micro moments were the most unguarded thing they ever gave you. And they were giving them to you long before you knew to receive them. And if you missed those early signals, stay with me until point 6, because there's one moment that happens in every rescue dog's life that most owners walk right past without realizing it. It is the moment the dog decides to stay, not because they have to, but because they want to, and it looks almost like nothing. 4. Why they flinch and what to do instead of pulling back. Your hand moved toward them, and they flinched, and you pulled back. Because you didn't want to push, because you wanted them to know you were safe, because pulling back felt like the gentle thing. And it was gentle. But here's what most owners of fearful dogs don't realize. A hand that disappears the moment fear is expressed can quietly confirm the very thing a traumatized nervous system is most afraid of. That the world is unpredictable. That safety appears and then vanishes. That there is no reliable constant. Research into trauma-informed animal handling, including work published through the American Veterinary Society of Animal Behavior in 2021, emphasizes the importance of calm, consistent presence over reactive withdrawal. When your dog flinches, the answer is not to disappear. It is to go slower, to become quieter, to hold your position with a steadiness that says, I am not a threat and I am not leaving. Not the same thing. Completely different messages. Fearful dogs do not need you to retreat. They need you to become so calm and so predictable that their nervous system eventually runs out of reasons to stay afraid. 5. You are not undoing their past. You are building beside it. There is a weight that rescue dog owners carry that most of them have never named out loud. The belief that their love needs to be remedial, that the goal is to reach back into whatever happened and overwrite it, to love hard enough and long enough that the past eventually disappears. And that belief, however loving its origin, places an impossible pressure on the relationship. A study out of Linkping University in 2020 found that rescue dogs placed in stable, low-stress home environments showed significant neurological and behavioral recovery over time, but that the recovery was not linear and was not correlated with intensity of intervention. It was correlated with consistency, with routine, with the quiet accumulation of ordinary days in which nothing bad happened. You are not a remedy. You are an environment. And the environment you create, calm, predictable, safe, the same today as it was yesterday, is the thing that does the work. Not the grand gestures, not the extra love on hard days, the ordinary days, the showing up, the being there, over and over without drama until your dog's nervous system begins to believe that this is simply what the world is like now. If this is reshaping how you see your rescue dog and your role in their life, subscribe. This channel is built for the owners who want to understand what's really happening inside the dog they chose to bring home. 6. The moment they decided to stay. Here is the payoff from point 3. At some point, and you may not have been watching when it happened, your rescue dog made a shift. Not a dramatic one. Not a moment you could photograph or point to clearly. It probably looked like them walking into the room and lying down near you without any particular reason, or choosing your end of the couch when the whole couch was available, or falling asleep in a way that was completely unguarded, belly exposed, breath slow, body soft, in a space they once treated as temporary. Attachment researchers who study rehome dogs describe this threshold as the commitment point, the internal moment when a dog stops experiencing their environment as provisional and begins experiencing it as home. Before that moment, they are enduring. After it, they are choosing. Your rescue dog, at some unremarkable moment on some ordinary day, looked at the life you had been quietly building around them and decided to stay in it. Not because they had to, not because there was nowhere else, because you had shown them, day after day, enough of the same safe thing that staying began to feel like the truest choice they had ever made. 7. What you actually are to a rescue dog who has learned to trust you. Think about what trust costs a dog who came to you with every reason not to give it. Think about what it means to cross that distance, from a nervous system calibrated entirely around self-protection, from a history in which people and places and safety itself prove temporary, and arrive somehow at ease, at rest, at a place where the world is no longer something to brace against. You did that. Not with perfection, not with any single heroic act. You did it with the accumulation of ordinary moments in which you were who you said you were. A study out of the University of Veterinary Medicine in Vienna in 2022 found that rescue dogs who formed secure attachments with their new owners showed oxytocin responses during reunion indistinguishable from those seen in dogs raised from puppyhood in stable homes. The nervous system, given enough evidence, rebuilds. The capacity for trust, given enough safety, returns. To a rescue dog who has made that crossing, you are not just their person. You are proof. Proof that the world can be different from what it once was. Proof that hands can be gentle and voices can be soft and the same face can appear again and again without ever bringing harm. You are the evidence their whole life had been waiting for. Your rescue dog did not need you to be perfect. They did not need you to undo what came before or heal what was hurt or love loudly enough to reach back through everything that happened before you. They needed you to show up. The same way, day after day, until the world made sense again. Until your face became the thing that meant safe. Until the corner they pressed into on the first day became the place they chose to sleep. You did that, with ordinary days and quiet consistency, and a love that didn't ask them to be ready before they were. That is not a small thing. That is everything.